Hey guys, it's Lotus and welcome back to another video. So, due to a viewer request, we will be adding a new novel to our Danmei reading book club. Yay! So, the novel that was requested was Zhenhun, aka Guardian by Priest. Now, many of you may know Priest from her other works. She has also written Word of Honor and a bunch of other stuff, although I personally have only watched Guardian and Word of Honor, but she is a really prolific and well-known writer. So check out her other stuff as well. I will link a card about her in the description, and I will link this Guardian card as well, so you can have information about adaptations and novel links and all that stuff. So, for those who have not read or watched the Guardian drama, Guardian is about follows two main characters. One is Zhao Yunlan, who is the chief of a detective agency who investigates supernatural and paranormal occurrences and paranormal crimes. And then our other main character is Shen Wei, who is a professor by daytime, but at night he is a fierce Dark Lord envoy who keeps the peace between the human world and the supernatural world. So that's a really fun dynamic, right? I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to spoil it for those who have not read or watched Guardian before. But I really love the drama. Baiyu played Zhao Yunlan, and Zhu Yilong played Shen Wei, and Zhu Yilong's Shen Wei was amazing. He had like the cutest puppy dog eyes. He always looked really sad and worried about Zhao Yunlan, and that's just so cute. So please, I highly recommend the drama. I will link it in the description if you want to check out the show. It's really, really good. But yeah, so I want to jump right into it, right? I'm going to check out the prologue first, and then we'll read a chapter or two. Yeah, for our first read-along of this new series. Thank you again for the viewer request. I hope you enjoy this read-along. Okay, so let me start some music. Okay, so. Oh yeah, also, before I forget, of course, please support the official web novel if you can on JJWXC. I will also link a guide in the description on how to purchase the web novel if you're able to. Please support Priest as much as you can. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so let's start with the prologue. So the prologue is called Innate, and it was translated by Alyson. So thank you, Alyson, for translating the prologue. Note, this is translated from the simplified Chinese mainland version of the physical book, so there might have been stuff that were censored or cut out. So just keep that in mind. I will be reading this censored prologue that Alyson has kindly translated for us. Okay. Buzhou Mountain has finally collapsed. 100,000 mountains weep without stopping. Kunlun Jun is suddenly awakened from his rest while leaning against the great godly tree. He lifts his head and spots a sky filled with violent wind and frantic snow. The sky is so dark, it seems as if it will never lighten ever again. The gray snowflakes resemble falling feathers, and the biting cold is bone-piercing. The scene is reminiscent of the expansive calamity of a wildfire. Very soon, the perpetually white snowy peaks of Kunlun Mountain are covered in a layer of gray ash. The heavens and the earth are thrown into chaos, creatures cower towards the ground, and deities are alarmed and flee in all directions. On the primeval earth, as far as the eye can see, there are only ruins and the souls of the newly deceased. This is the second time that tragedy is waging a war against the gods. Kunlun! Kunlun! Shen Nong's aged calls reach the depths of the mountain recesses. The feeble last syllables echo and fade in and out. He is despondent, looking as if he is about to take his last breath. Kunlun Jun sighs and immediately passes through the ceaseless blizzard. Seemingly out of nowhere, he lands near the ruins of Buzhou Mountain. His green robes, swept by the strong wind, sound like a flag. His expression is passive. I already gifted you my soul fire. I also don't want to meddle with their affairs. Yet, you still criticize me and ask me what I'm doing? Then what is this? The ruins of Buzhou Mountain are vast and dark. No light can penetrate inside at all. The earth has split into a hideous crevice. All kinds of foreboding creatures are surging out ceaselessly. Their shrill cries are all mixed into one. Kunlun Jun frowns and knits his brows. He knows Dishin breeds malice, but he had never realized their need to flee. With his back facing Kunlun, Shennong waves him over. Come with me! Wait. Shennong, without reason, said that the sovereigns of hell have already infiltrated inside. Kunlun Jun hesitates for a short while, but is ultimately forced to follow. The rift in the ground is reminiscent of a nasty wound, exposing the truth concealed by the earth. The sinister creatures eagerly surround the two and circle around them incessantly, seemingly out of fear, but simultaneously ready to surge up and take a bite out of the divine being's flesh and blood. Fushi's great seal has been destroyed, Shennong said, his voice barely audible. What? With Fushi dead for many years and the great seal originally weak, the godly dragon has knocked over Buzhou Mountain earlier, sweeping up strong winds and scraping off your soul fire. And then it fell down and burned a hole in the great seal? Kunlun Jun looked incredulous. Wise man, when you turned to me to borrow a soul fire, you said it would be used to suppress the souls of the world. But didn't say that you would release the fire and burn Fushi's great seal? Kunlun Jun's speech comes to an abrupt halt, stunned by the world in front of his eyes. The two have already traveled through the damaged opening of the Great Seal and landed. This is the forbidden land that has been suppressed by Fushi's Great Seal for many years. There is no light, no wind, no sign of life. Even rainwater evaporates before it has a chance to reach this place. Shennong holds up the night luminescent pearl. Kunlun Jun observes the restless swarm of chaos surging below him. Within the chaos rose countless humanoid forms and life. Yet, these life forms only seem to be able to pounce on and attack their nearby brethren the moment they are born, to consume or be consumed. Their shrill cries are deafening. Kunlun Jun looks blankly at the cruel state of the world. What is this? Shennong replies, It's from nature. What? It is from nature, little Kunlun. As if he was sighing, Shennong said next to Kunlun's ear, No parents, no origin, like you and I, just like the great god Pangu. Gods and the evil, both are innate. Kunlun Jun matches Shennong's gaze. The old man's eyes are cloudy and the edges of his iris are hazy. Yet the divine being still retains his grandeur, infinite compassion and mercy, free of desire and greed. Kunlun, the creation is yet to be finished, but the time for us to leave has come. It's too late. Okay, well, that's really mysterious. I don't remember this from the drama, so that's where the drama and novel definitely diverge. Okay, so that was the prologue so far. I really can't tell you what's going on because I too am really confused. But let's jump into the main novel now, right? Okay. Wow, this is really big. Making sure that this is a good size. Let me see. Oh, this is way too small. Okay. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. So, now we will begin the official main story, Guardian Chapter 1. And this is translated by Rainbow 7. Thank you so much, Rainbow 7, for feeding the Guardian fandom and translating this beloved novel. Okay. Also, again, please buy the novel at JJWXC to support the artist Priest. So, Chapter 1. So, this first section is called Number 4 Bright Avenue. Chapter 1. It's July of the lunar calendar, and the sky is still dark. Night owls, big and small, have returned to their nests. Even on the spacious avenues of Dragon City, everything seems awfully quiet, with only the occasional bug buzzing from the bushes, elusive and bewildering. the atmosphere heightened with anticipation. Actually, I can make it a little bit bigger, right? Yes? No? Oh. Let me just adjust this real quick so you guys can see this better. There we go. Okay. It's 2:30 in the morning, and morning dew falls, turning the air humid. Humid and sticky. Perhaps it's because of the wind, but a shadow seems to be lurking in every corner, and as the one walks along the avenue, there always seems to be something glaring from behind. It is at this time that Go Chang-chung walks into number 4 Bright Avenue, carrying a notification letter. Go Chang-chung's parents died when he was young. With his mediocre looks and an introverted and cowardly disposition, suffice to say, he's not very competent. Fortunately, his relatives have been quite nice to him and looked after him until he graduated from university. Unfortunately, Go Chang-chung fails to live up to any sort of expectation imaginable. He struggled to graduate from a low-tier university, and with rather mediocre grades, too. Despite being an adult now, he's uptight and afraid in front of strangers. As one would expect, Go Chang-chung couldn't find a job. After he graduated, he wasted almost a year at home, slacking. Afterwards, when his uncle was transferred to the Ministry of Public Security, he pulled some strings to get his hopeless nephew a job. And so, Go Chang-chung thought that he would spend his future working 9 to 5 in a uniform, drinking tea and shuffling papers, and playing dominoes in between. That is, until he received this bizarre recruitment notice. When it arrived, Go Chang-chung thought that there must have been some sort of mistake. The notice was written in expertly penned red letters. Oh no, why is it glitching? Oh no! Comrade Go, congratulations on being recruited by our department. You will enjoy the benefits and status of a national civil servant with an above-average salary. Oh, sorry, please excuse the blinking. At the same time, you will be responsible for serving the people. We hope that, in the days that come in your new station, you will devote yourself to your job, staunchly forge ahead, obey your leader, love your comrades, serve society by maintaining the peace, and contribute to the country's prosperity. Please bring this notice and your ID and report to our office at 2:30 a.m. on August 31st, July 15th of the lunar calendar. Our address, Human Resources Department, 1F, number 4 Bright Avenue. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you as our new comrade on behalf of our staff, Ministry of Public Security of the People's Republic of China, Special Investigations Unit. Normally, when one sees such a strange reporting time, one would expect it to be a typo and would call for confirmation. But Go Chang-chung, being the antisocial freak he is, has a rather peculiar case of telephone phobia. The thought of having to make a phone call leaves him sleepless at night. That's okay, Go Chang-chung, I also have telephone phobia. I don't like to talk over the phone, it makes me really anxious. So, he never made the call. Instead, Go Chang-chung came up with a perfect plan. He would stay up all night and go to number 4 Bright Avenue at 2:30 in the morning. If there was no one there, he would take a nap at a McDonald's nearby and come back at 2:30 in the afternoon. He figured that either one of these two times must be right. At this hour, the metro is out of service, leaving Go Chang-chung no choice but to drive. Struggling even with the help of a GPS, he finally manages to find the right place. Number 4 Bright Avenue is not actually very bright, but rather hidden in a secluded courtyard. Go Chang-chung stops and hesitates at the entrance for a while, then turns on the flashlight on his phone and finds a small sign with the building number on it underneath the lush Japanese ivy. Below the sign is a small engraving on the rock, which reads Special Investigations Unit. There's even the emblem of the MPS beneath it. The courtyard is lush with vegetation. Past the car park area is a line of Japanese pagoda trees, forming a small grove. Among the trees is a narrow path, which leads to a small reception hut and an old office building. Lights are on in the hut, and a uniformed figure can be seen inside, wearing a service cap and reading a newspaper, flipping the pages from time to time. Sweating nervously, Go Chang-chung takes a deep breath and, without much thought about why the reception office is open at this time of night, he begins to mutter to himself. I am reporting as a new recruit. This is my notice letter. I'm reporting as a new recruit. This is my notice letter. I am reporting as a new recruit. This is my notice letter. Go Chang-chung stands in the same spot, reciting the lines dozens of times like a school kid memorizing for an exam, rolling the words on his tongue like an incantation. Finally, he gathers his courage and shakily knocks on the window of the reception, then feebly mutters as if making a dying confession. I am reporting as a new notice. This is my letter, recruit. Oh, he got tongue-tied. Poor Go Chang-chung. What? Asked the bewildered middle-aged man at the reception. Oh, he's screwed. How could he mess up a simple line like that? Go Chang-chung is almost in tears. His face started to look like a purple yam. Fortunately, the man sees the letter and realizes what he's here for. Oh, you're the newbie. What should I call you? Oh, I see. Little Go, huh? We haven't had a newcomer in quite some years. This place isn't easy to find, right? Go Chang-chung is relieved. He likes meeting friendly and eager people. The more talkative the other person is, the less he needs to say. All he has to do is nod it or shake his head. So, this is your first day, huh? Let me tell you, you're so lucky. It just so happens that our chief is here tonight. Come on, I'll introduce you to everyone. Go Chang-chung tenses up, his hair standing on end. He's not feeling lucky whatsoever. Rather, he feels like his brain is leaking moldy air. Oh, he's so nervous. Go Chang-chung is particularly afraid of people of high status and power. When he was little, he would start curling up whenever he saw a teacher, and he would turn around and run for his life if he ever saw the principal. Albeit a law-abiding citizen, when he sees a policeman, he's like a rat-faced with a cat. Meeting the chief, he'd rather meet ghosts. At this moment, the doors of the small office building are pushed open, and a young man comes striding out. The man has a cigarette in his mouth, hands buried in his pockets. He is slender and tall, with a straight posture, thick eyebrows, deep-set eyes, and a high nose. Extremely handsome, but wearing an extremely somber expression. Frowning and quick-paced, his body seems to be saying, "Don't stand in my way, make room for the boss." Go Chang-chung comes face to face with the man and is immediately stunned by his eyes. Beautiful yet sharp, those eyes make shivers run down his back. This handsome man seems ill-tempered. Surprisingly, when the man sees him standing by the doorway, he makes an abrupt stop. In a split second, his face changes from thunder and lightning to clear skies, and he puts on the most genuine and cordial smile possible. Two soft dimples appear on his cheeks. His mouth curls up in a somewhat crooked smile because of his cigarette, and his eyes curve more deeply with a hint of mischief in them. Just the right amount of mischievousness, but amiable still. Well, speak of the devil. Hey kid, meet our chief. The middle-aged man gives Go Chang-chung a push from behind, and he almost stumbles and falls. His mind goes blank as he hears a voice behind him say, Chief Zhao, we have a newcomer today. Hi, my warmest welcome. Chief Zhao extends his hand in greeting. Half paralyzed, Go Chang-chung tries to wipe off the sweat on his hands and embarrassingly extends the wrong hand for a handshake. He quickly withdraws it as if he got an electric shock. The nerve-wracking experience leaves his short-sleeved shirt soaked in sweat, slowly forming a world map on his back. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. He must be so scared right now. Chief Zhao lets out a very restrained laugh and raises his hand to give Go Chang-chung a pat on the shoulder. No need to be nervous. Our colleagues are all very nice and friendly. Since it's your first day, I really should walk you around. But you see, today happens to be a special day, and we're extremely busy. Please don't feel left out. I'll hold a welcome party for you at a later time. Oh, would you look at the time? How about this? Let old Wu take you inside to meet Wang Zheng, our HR manager, and she'll help you with employment procedures. Then you can go back to rest and come back tomorrow morning. Does that sound good? Go Chang-chung nods nervously. No matter how desperately hurried Chief Zhao seemed a moment ago, as he's standing still and talking to Go Chang-chung, his manner is remarkably calm and stately, his speech neither panicked nor busy, his tone neither anxious nor slow. his attitude neither too warm nor too cold. "If you excuse me, I'm in a hurry. If there's anything you need, you can tell me when I get back. Don't be shy, we're family now. Sorry for troubling you today." Chief Zhao gives Go Changcheng a gentle apologetic smile, then nods at Old Wu and rushes off. Old Wu is clearly a big fan of Chief Zhao. Just listening to a conversation that wasn't even about him has made him happy as a clam. As he leads Go Changcheng into the office building, he begins singing Chief Zhao's praises. "Our chief is so young, capable, well-tempered, and always kind and genuine towards everyone, never putting on airs." Go Changcheng has yet to recover from the horrors of meeting the big chief and barely hears Old Wu. And because he's always afraid of making direct eye contact, he also hasn't noticed that Old Wu's face is deathly pale. His lips blood red. His mouth splitting almost to his earlobes. And when he opens and closes it, it appears he has no tongue. The office is full of busy people. It really seems to be a hectic time. It's only then that Go Changcheng finally realizes there's something strange about this office. It's not unusual for people to work overtime, but is it really necessary for the entire staff, including the receptionist, to be working until this late hour? "No worries," Old Wu explains. "You'll mostly be working day shift. As long as there are no major cases, we rarely have to work overtime. But since it's July, the few days around the 15th are the most hectic time of the year for us. Don't be concerned though, overtime pays 3 times the usual salary, and you'll even get a bonus at the end of the month." Go Changcheng is even more perplexed. What does he mean with the few days around the 15th are the most hectic time of the year for us? Do criminals hold regular meetings and pick special times of the year to commit crimes? And they even follow the lunar calendar? However, Go Changcheng is afraid to appear stupid, so keeps his questions to himself and simply nods. Old Wu continues, "As for me, I usually work the night shift. A different colleague staffs the reception during the day." He sighs. "I guess we won't get to see each other much in the future. Have you just graduated? From which university? What did you see? Oh, what did you study?" Go Changcheng shamefully admits his rather disappointing and lackluster academic achievements, adding in a near whisper, "I'm not very good with learning." "Well, you're still a university graduate nonetheless. I like educated young people, since I wasn't capable myself. When I was young, my family was poor, so I never got the chance to get a proper education. When I was around 7 or 8, I studied at a private school for just a short while. But after all these years, I've almost forgotten all the stuff that I learned. I can only barely read the newspaper now. Ha ha ha." What? Private school? Go Changcheng is again confused, but still afraid to appear stupid, so he decides to keep his questions to himself again. "Oh, we're here!" Old Wu exclaims cheerfully. Go Changcheng lifts his head and sees a door with a giant sign on it that reads Human Resources in red letters on a whiteboard, and a very eerie red as well. Go Changcheng ponders why this red seems so strange and suspicious, and to his shock, he realizes that the words looked as if they were written with dried blood. Old Wu knocks on the door. "Is little Wang here? We have a newcomer today. Can I trouble you to complete his employment procedures?" After a brief silence, a soft female voice says, "I'm coming." The voice seems to come from very far away, and yet seems to float just beside his ears. At once, a chill surges down Go Changcheng's spine. Blissfully ignorant of his feelings, Old Wu says, "Sorry for troubling you at this time of night, little Go, but you see, little Wang is just like me. We can only do night shifts, so employment procedures can only be carried out around this time." Hold on, what does he mean by can only do night shifts? Sorry. Go Changcheng feels increasingly uncomfortable, and more icy shivers run down his back. Trembling with fear, he glances at a worker passing by, and instantly feels chill to the bone. Go Changcheng can clearly see the uniformed worker gliding midair along the corridor. He doesn't have feet! The door to the office creaks open just then, and a young girl in a white dress appears, asking in a reedy voice that makes his skin break out in goosebumps. Have you brought the notification letter and your ID card? A chilling breeze comes rushing out of the room, and Go Chang Chung feels as if his heart were about to stop beating and burst. He's afraid if he doesn't speak now, he might not be able to speak again for the rest of his life. He holds his breath and slowly lifts his head, his gaze sweeping across the spotless white dress, stopping at the girl's bare neck. A second later, he makes a rasping noise as if he were being choked. His jaw is hanging open, but he can't even produce a scream. His eyes look as though they're about to pop, and his limbs are petrified as he slowly stumbles backwards, as if his body were no longer his. He sees a red line marked across the girl's neck. It's not a necklace, but a line that deeply sinks into her skin, a tightly sewn line stitching her head to her neck. An icy hand rests on Go Chang Chung's shoulder, and old Wu says, "Hey, little Go, you doing okay?" Go Chang Chung turns and sees old Wu's pale as paper face and gaping maw. Meeting the chief, he'd rather meet ghosts. Perhaps this is karma paying him back for what? Perhaps this is karma paying him back for that thought. 2 seconds later, Go Chang Chung passes out without a sound. He's so intent on not looking stupid that he doesn't even roll up his eyes before his body goes rigid and falls to the floor. His uncle truly found him a remarkable job. Oh wow, oh poor Go Chang Chung, I feel so bad for him. He's like, he doesn't have a lot of good job prospects, so his uncle manages to land him a job at a police station. He gets there, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. The chief is busy, so he can't show him around. And then he turns out that all of his co-workers are monsters and ghosts. They're dead people. He's gonna be working with dead people, guys. Okay, also, I realized that I didn't check the music before I started it, and I realized that some of the music here might not be really appropriate for the book, so I'm gonna just quickly change the music. I have some piano music that I think would be a lot more fitting. So let me just pull that up, because I was listening to it and then I was like, wait a minute. Is that the Star Spangled Banner or something? I was like, or, you know, like the national anthem? I'm listening to it like, wait a minute. Oh. So let me pull up some relaxing music that might be more fitting. Let's see. I have an ad. Let me just wait till this ad finishes. Okay. This might be a little bit more appropriate. It's a little more subtle and calm. And not as random, I would say. Okay. So anyway, poor Go Chang Chung. Let's go on to chapter 2 and see how he does, because he passed out, poor dude. Okay. Sundial of Reincarnation, Chapter 2. Streetlights flicker like fireflies in the air, barely able to penetrate the heavy darkness. A young girl hurries along the uneven pavement, coming to a sudden halt when she trips and falls heavily to her knees. In the suffocating heat of the summer night, Li Qian takes deep, unsteady breaths, her fingers tightly clutching her clothes. All she can hear is her own rapid heartbeat and the shuffling footsteps from behind. There has to be some I'm sorry guys, there has to be some creepy music, because I feel like Guardian actually, the drama wasn't scary, but it was more like a sci-fi, but the book is actually, I think, pretty scary. So let me see if I can really quickly find some like creepy music. Some Chotomate. Let me just creepy music. Let's see. Let's see. Something fitting. Let's see. Wow. I'm looking and they showed me a picture of The Exorcist. That's great. Really appreciate that. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Horror ambiance. Let me see. Let's check this out. How does this sound? Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm feeling this. This is giving me some chills a little bit, right? Okay. Because remember, guys, Guardian, the book, is actually like supernatural horror in a way compared to the drama, so I think this fits. Yeah, okay. I'll start the chapter from the beginning. Sorry for the break in the immersion. Chapter 2, Sundial of Reincarnation. Streetlights flicker like fireflies in the air, barely able to penetrate the heavy darkness. A young girl hurries along the uneven pavement, coming to a sudden halt when she trips and falls heavily to her knees. In the suffocating heat of the summer night, Li Qian takes deep, unsteady breaths, her fingers tightly clutching her clothes. All she can hear is her own rapid heartbeat and the shuffling footsteps from behind. It's a distinctive sound that can only be made by traditional soft-soled cloth shoes, and the wearer's gait is uneven, as if dragging a bad leg. Li Qian abruptly looks behind herself, but there's nothing in sight besides the tiny insects hovering around the street lamps. Her features are delicate, and she would normally be considered pretty, but one would hardly think that looking at her in her current state. Her lips are as pale as her face, and her sweat-soaked hair is disheveled and clings uncomfortably to her skin. Gradually, her expression changes into a bitter sneer laced with pure terror. "Go away!" she says through gritted teeth. "If I can get rid of you once, I can get rid of you again!" The footsteps stop. Li Qian rolls up her sleeves, revealing pale arms awash with goosebumps despite the sultry summer heat. She picks up a brick from the ground as footsteps close in on her from all directions like a swarm of bone-devouring maggots, but she still can't see what's causing the sounds. Invisible threats are the most frightening ones. Li Qian begins to scream, violently swinging at the air with the brick. The brick seems to grow heavier and heavier, and the coarse surface grates the tender skin of her palm. Exhausted and dizzy, she bends over with her hands on her knees and pants heavily. Li Qian's attention is unexpectedly drawn to the ground. Her pupils constrict and she begins to tremble violently. The brick falls from her hand and onto her toes, but she doesn't seem to feel the pain at all. As she stumbles backwards, her knees give way and she crumples to the ground in shock. A shadow. There's a shadow! The street lamp is in front of her. How can there be a shadow inside the circle of light cast by that street lamp? It may look like black ink splattered across the ground, but it's unmistakably standing. Who knows how long that shadowy figure has been watching her as she sat in a crumpled heap on the ground. Screeching laughter rings in her ears. "If you haven't done anything wrong, why are you so horrified by a shadow?" Ooh. It's not quite 5 o'clock in the early morning when the phone on the bedside table begins ringing. Having worked through the night, Zhao Yunlan rolls bright into bed when he got home, not even taking time to undress first. He seemed to have barely lain down before being cruelly woken up. His face is expressionless as he opens his eyes, fatigue deepening the creases in his eyelids. The rancor in his eyes, however, is unmistakable as he stares at the ceiling above. 3 seconds later, he pulls himself into a sitting position, tries to shake off the fog clouding his brain, and reaches for his mobile phone. Zhao Yunlan's room is remarkably chaotic. Worse than the messiest dog kennel. Even the dogs would protest if you called it a doghouse. It's like the damn, you really live like this? His clothes are scattered everywhere, all over the bed and on the floor. It's anyone's guess whether they're clean or supposed to go in the wash. The large twin bed is also covered with an array of other items. The laptop with a single sock dangling from a corner, sunglasses, and umbrella are a little unusual, but much more baffling are the origami top hat and a whole can of cinnabar powder. And in the midst of the knickknacks on the bed, a sliver of space barely large enough for one person to lie down has been dug out. Zhao Yunlan looks extremely resentful, as if he'll burst out swearing any second. But when he picks up the phone, his tone is completely normal, just a little hoarse. It's as if he's used to this kind of situation. "What's up this time?" "Someone died," Wang Zheng says, concise and to the point. "When?" "Last night or this morning. Not long ago. Where? University Street. A grim expression crosses Zhao Yunlan's face. Let old Chu take care of it. Chu Shuzi went. Chu Shuju. Wait. Chu Shuju? Chu Shuju? Chu Shuju went. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I am butchering his name. I got this, guys. I have this, which can help tell me how to pronounce his name. I'm just gonna quickly run his name through Google Translate. Chu Shuji. Chu Shuji. Ji. Okay. Chu Shuji. Chu Shuji went on a business trip to Shaanxi. What about Lin Jing? Got call downstairs. Ugh, F me. What about Zhu Hong? Oh, never mind. There was a full moon yesterday. She must be on leave. Who else is at work? I am, but it's almost sunrise, so I have to go soon, says Wang Zheng. There's also Da Qing and the new intern, Go Changcheng. Zhao Yunlan yawns and says feebly, Tell Da Qing to go with the intern. Give the kid a chance to learn. Go Changcheng can't go anywhere now, Wang Zheng explains. When he came in last night, he passed out on the floor, and he's still unconscious. For a moment, Zhao Yunlan is speechless. What scared him so much that he fainted, he asks. Old Wu and I. Wang Zheng recounts the events and adds, I told you to find a funeral supply shop to make old Wu a new body. Zhu Hong's hands are clumsier than her feet, and what she makes with sandbags and paper looks nowhere near like an actual person. Zhao Yunlan sits on the edge of the bed silently. It's against procedure if I show up. It might scare others. He sighs eventually, but I guess I have no choice. Fine. Tell Da Qing to wait for me. I'll be there. He hangs up, washes up in 3 minutes, and drives at speed towards University Street. Rounding the corner, Zhao Yunlan is just slowing down when a shadow falls from the sky. With a loud bang, a furry ball catapults onto his windscreen with such force it almost crashes through it. Zhao Yunlan stomps on the brake, rolls down the window, and yells, This is called a motor vehicle! It's a transportation device, not your litter box! Try not to break it, will you? On the bonnet sits a black tomcat, so fat and round that he seems to have no neck, with the furball addition of a perfectly round pancake face. Oh, Da Qing is so cute! At first glance, he looks like an African cousin of Garfield. It's only by tucking in his hind legs and painstakingly sucking in his belly that he's able to stretch out his front legs and maintain a dignified sitting position. Turning his round face this way and that to make sure no one is within earshot, the cat flicks his whiskers and says, Stop babbling and get out! Don't you notice that smell? The air is indeed filled with a strange odor, so foul it could be a bioweapon. Zhao Yunlan gets out of the car, covers his nose, and asks the cat, It smells terrible! What did you just fart? The cat ignores his remarks, leaping off the windscreen and landing with a thunderous thud. Pointing his fat bottom at Zhao Yunlan, he struts ahead with an unmistakably feline air of superiority. A few police cars are parked along the other side of the road, and a police line has been set up at the entrance of a small alley. Zhao Yunlan rummages in his pockets for some time before finally managing to locate a shabby-looking staff ID. An officer is guarding the police line. His back is to the crime scene, and he's looking a little green in the face. He glances quickly at Zhao Yunlan's card and returns it, then rushes off to a wall and starts vomiting. Ooh, it must be really bad. Zhao Yunlan scratches the unkempt mess doubling as his hair, bewildered. Is my photo really that nauseating? The cat has walked way ahead of him and turns around impatiently, urging him on with a long and angry meow. Right, the important stuff. Damn this smell, it's deadly. Zhao Yunlan bends at the waist and ducks under the police line. He is approached almost immediately. A man holding a tissue over his nose asks in a muffled voice, Are you from the Special Investigations Unit? Everyone who works in the Ministry of Public Security knows of the mysterious department called the Special Investigations Unit. They're certainly not low-tier officers, but nobody knows what exactly it is that they do. Every time someone from the SIU is involved, it's always on order from the higher authorities, and nobody can object. But if they don't come, nobody would know where to find them. They belong to the MPS, but are not always closely monitored. They're organized strictly and their procedures are wholly non-transparent. Without official approval, the media will never be able to locate the SIU. let alone interview or report anything about them. Nobody knows how they do things, to be honest. When a case is handed to the SIU, it's like it enters a black box, and the only thing that comes out of it is a mysterious report. Sometimes, SIU staff members are more bewildering than the most bewildering cases. Their case reports are always detailed, logical, and impeccable, giving a full account of the entire process of solving the case and catching the criminals involved. But there is something suspicious. The criminals always die in the end. While most of the cases they handle involve heinous crimes, so the suspects most probably deserve their demise, it's perhaps a little too coincidental. The officer in charge of the investigation is a senior policeman named Yang. He offers Zhao Yunlan a friendly handshake and curiously sizes him up. "What should I call you?" Zhao Yunlan, you can call me Little Zhao. Old Yang is quite taken aback. Never would he have thought that this young man is the chief of the SIU. He's given Zhao Yunlan an even closer look and notices that he's tall, slender, and handsome, like a fashion model. Though it has to be said that his outfit is not very pleasing. A scruffy shirt, only half buttoned, half of it tucked in and the other half not to mention that bird's nest of a hairstyle. But Chief Zhao is the chief after all, no matter how messy he looks. Even if he ran around naked in the street, lower-ranked officers would probably have to praise him for trend-setting. "Oh dear!" exclaims Old Yang. "You're Chief Zhao! Excuse me for my ignorance. Who would have thought our chief is so young and accomplished?" Zhao Yunlan is rather used to flattery, and naturally replies with some formal utterance. Just then, someone is growing impatient, and a loud and clear meow can be heard. Old Yang looks down and sees a black shadow bolting up Zhao Yunlan's pants and shirt and onto his shoulder. It's a black cat with green eyes. Normally, a black cat at a crime scene would be rather ominous, but this particular cat is just a bit too plump, so Yang's shock inadvertently transforms into worry about its cholesterol levels. He's like, "You can't be bad luck, you're too chubby and squishy and cute. You don't look foreboding at all." Old Yang stares at it, and it stares right back. This... Embarrassed, Zhao Yunlan adjusts his pants, which the cat almost pulled off, and laughs. "This is our cat manager. He's really hard-working, so he doesn't like it when we chit-chat during work." Old Yang is left speechless. The cat arrogantly stretches its neck, albeit with difficulty due to its sheer size, and impatiently wiggles its tail. Zhao Yunlan gets the message and reaches for the little badge around the cat's neck. With some effort, he digs it out of the long fur and shows it to Old Yang. "This is a special permit of the SIU, equivalent to our staff badges. Don't worry, he's an experienced cat. He knows what he's doing." Old Yang begins to find this whole ordeal rather nonsensical. He walks into the crime scene, and a moment later, Chief Zhao follows him, carrying the cat. The farther they go, the nastier the smell. A female corpse lies in the narrow hutong, wearing a t-shirt with Dragon City University orientation camp printed on it. Her eyes and mouth are open. Her body lies supine in the shape of a star, and her stomach has been cut open and emptied. Old Yang covers his nose with the tissue again, visibly disturbed. The fat cat on Zhao Yunlan's shoulder lets out a long meow, leaps to the ground, and circles the corpse twice. It then stops beside the corpse, sits down, and stares at Zhao Yunlan like a well-trained detection dog. Zhao Yunlan walks towards the corpse. From his scruffy pocket, he takes out a scruffy pair of gloves and puts them on. He examines the spot the cat is sitting on, and carefully lifts up one of the corpse's arms. Old Yang leans forward for a closer look, and sees a bloody hand mark on the floor. That definitely can't be a human hand. The palm is only the size of a child's hand, but the fingers are at least 20 centimeters long. Old Yang has been a policeman for practically his entire life, and he has never seen anything as bizarre. While Yang is still mesmerized and stupefied, Zhao Yunlan remarks somberly, "From now on, the SIU will be in charge of this case. The handover procedures will be complete in 2 workdays." Old Yang never gets a chance to reply, as Zhao Yunlan points toward a dilapidated door and asks, "What's in there?" Oh, that's the end of Chapter 2. Okay. So, in Chapter 2, we get to see some of Zhao Yunlan. He wakes up. It's really early in the morning. He's tired. He did not have a good night's sleep. But he has to go investigate a mysterious murder case at the university in town. So, he goes, he meets up with Da-Ching, his chubby black cat, and they go and question the police who's at the scene. And it looks like the victim had all of her innards removed. Her belly was slit open and her intestines are missing. Ew, 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 really gory. This is definitely more gory than the drama. I don't think they had any blood, like barely any blood, in the drama adaptation. Probably for like censorship reasons, but still. It was more like sci-fi. This is definitely more like gore and horror and thriller. So yeah, what could have happened to this poor girl who was murdered? They found a fingerprint, but it doesn't seem to belong to any human hand. So, what do you guys think? Are you interested to hear more of Guardian? I am interested because I've watched the drama, but I know the book is supposed to be very different from the drama. There's going to be a lot of more changes that you will notice as we continue reading on, such as some character backstories and purposes and stuff like that. Yeah. So I can't wait till we actually meet Shun Wei. I'm assuming since Zhao Yunlan is at the campus, we will meet Shun Wei in the next read-along. Hopefully the next chapter, we shall see. But until then, that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you check out the drama. I hope you check out the novel. Please support it, and please support Priest. And also, don't worry guys, I will be alternating my uploads between Guardian and Urha, so I will still be updating both novels. I'm just adding this one to the roster, so we'll have 2 novels that we'll currently be reading concurrently. Yeah. So, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you again for the viewer request, for requesting Guardian, because I love this show and I love the characters. I love the main couple so much. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!